and welcome to my creative space. Thank you so much for being here today. Welcome to another DIY video. I want to welcome all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining my creative squad. And if you're not already, I would hope that you will consider to join it as well and subscribe to this channel. I love making all kinds of DIYs, and in today's video I have 5 farmhouse / neutral / rustic Valentine's Day DIYs. So without further ado, let's get started. For this DIY, I will be using this flat mason jar like cutouts that I got from the Dollar Tree. I had used them in one of my Christmas videos as stocking holders, so I decided to take them and repurpose them. I painted them with that chalky ivory paint that I have. I will leave the information on the description box, but basically I'm gonna take this piece of burlap fabric. You could use the burlap ribbon that the Dollar Tree sells, but I couldn't find any at my Dollar Tree store, so I end up using this, which technically is the same thing. And I'm gonna take it and I cut 3 pieces, and I'm gonna start gluing them onto the mason jars, to the front middle part of the mason jar. And I will be using hot glue for this, and once they are all glued, I will move on to the next step. Once my 3 jars have the ribbon on there, I will be taking this Dollar Tree stickers. I usually always have these stickers because I really like them, and I will be cutting the letters I and U, and I will use them as stencils. As you can see right now, I'm taking the letter U and I will be putting it in one of the jars. And for the middle jar is gonna have a heart, and I cut it out of paper. And to paint, I'm gonna be using both of these acrylic paints, black and this burgundy color. The burgundy one is going to be for the heart, and the black one is going to be for the I and U. And you could use any color you want. For the heart, I just decided to go for this one because I was going for a more farmhouse rustic look to my jars, so that's what I decided to do. But basically I'm gonna apply this paint to my heart, and then I will do the same to the letter I and the U. Instead of red, I will do black, and that's all I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna be using this silver paint that I have, and I will be painting the top of this jar to make it look like a lid again. To decorate the jars, I decided to take these little flowers. They're actually real. They came from a real flower arrangement, and I thought it was the best idea to use them because they are pink, but they are pink enough for me. They're not really loud, and I really thought that they go with this look that I was trying to go for. So I decided to take a few little flowers and glue them to the corners. For the letter I glue it to the left. For the heart, I glue it in the middle, and for the right one, or the U letter jar, I glue it to the right. And I created a little bow with this Dollar Tree lace that I have, and I created a little bow for all my jars, and I think they look amazing. This is what it's looking like so far, but I still thought that it was needing something, so I distressed it with some brown paint, and here is the end result. I am in love of how these jars turned out. To create this adorable sign, I'm gonna take both of these signs that I bought, one from the fall season and the other one during Christmas season, and I never decided what I wanted to do with them, so I am going to repurpose them today, and I will create a bigger sign using both of these. basically I am going to cut this into a rectangle, and then over here I made the mistake of removing the sticker. I should have left it alone and just paint over it, but I didn't, and here we are. But anyway, so I am taking this one, I took it outside and cut it with a hacksaw. Now I'm gonna trace it on top of this second one, and I will trace it and take it outside as well and cut it again. Now that both of these signs are ready to go, I am going to pick the front and the back, and as you can see, this is going to be the back. I will be using popsicle sticks and hot glue to glue them together, and I will glue them on there vertically and some of them horizontally, but they will be smaller, as you will see throughout this clip. Now that these are done, it's time to move on, and I will be painting this sign white. I am going to be grabbing this chalky white paint, and I will paint it completely white. Once it dries, I will be using this ruler, and I will be creating lines with it. This is to give it a shiplap effect, and as you can see, I kind of messed up, but it's okay because I'm trying to make it look rustic as well. So here is what I will be doing, and I will do the exact same thing until I fully complete this sign. Now it's time to move to the details of this sign, and I am going to start by tracing a heart on a piece of cardboard and taking my scissors and cutting that out. And now I am going to be grabbing some jute rope, and I will basically wrap it around this heart until it's completely covered. Now that my heart is completed, I had this Christmas ornament I had made on one of my Christmas videos, and it's a tassel with some beads on it, and I am going to take that and glue that to my little heart. I was trying to see how everything was gonna look, and I decided I did like it, so I am going to take this little tassel and with a couple of beads on it, and I am gluing it to the back of this heart. Once I have that, I am going to take my jar, and I will take a pencil to mark exactly where this jar needs to be. As you can see, I'm taking the pencil and marking that out. Now that I created the marks exactly where I want my jar to go, I will be creating some holes for it, and I'm taking a screwdriver and a screw to create that hole for my U-rope and be able to hold my jar. Now I am going to take this red glitter glue that I got from the Dollar Tree, and to go with the kissing theme, I decided to draw kissing lips on this jar. They're not the best lips, but you get the idea. And this is also not the best glitter glue, but you get the idea. But that's all I'm gonna do. This is what the jar looks like. Now I'm gonna be taking this Dollar Tree stickers, and I will spell "take a kiss." As always, I will be placing the stickers on there but not sticking them all the way down, because I am going to make sure that they are placed in the right spot and that I am liking how it's looking. And once I am happy with that, I will actually stick them down. Now it's time to take my jute rope heart, and I will be gluing that on my sign. I decided to glue it sideways, and I used some hot glue for this as well. Once I have it all ready to go, I am going to take this little red bow that came on one of the Valentine's Day signs that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, and I saved because I knew I was going to use it eventually. And now, as a detail, I decided to add some jute rope on the top and the bottom part of this sign. I just thought it gave it a nice look, so that's all I'm gonna do. Now it's time to add the last detail, and is the mason jar. I just ran some rope through the holes that I created, and I will be adding my jar on there, and I will wrap it on the back. And this wouldn't be a take a kiss sign if we didn't have any Hershey's Kisses, so I filled it in with some kisses, and here is a look at how this sign turned out. I am in love of how this looks. For this wreath, I will be taking 2 packages of these wooden hearts from the Dollar Tree. One package is just plain hearts, but they do say Valentine's Day. I'm actually going to use the back of them. I don't want them to say anything. And the other package is hearts with arrows crossing through them. I thought they were a great combination of hearts, so that's why I grabbed 1 package of each. And I decided to place the plain ones at the bottom and the arrow ones on the top. Once I have it figured out where I want them to go, I will be taking some paint. I will be using this brown, this lighter pink color that I created, and this ivory white color to color my hearts. I will be alternating between colors, and I decided to start with pink, and then I realized they have that little hole, so I decided that to cover that up, I am going to be adding some hot glue. Now I do have spackling, but I couldn't find it. That's why I went for this hot glue, but if you have spackling, you could fill in the holes and that would work very well. By the way, that extra pair of hands that you see on this clip is actually my husband. He was so sweet. He sat with me through me making this DIY, and he was helping me fill in the little holes on the hearts while I was painting. So thank you so much to my sweet husband that is always helping me and supporting me in any way that he can. So thank you. I love you. I decided I wanted to distress these hearts, so for the pink and brown one, I used the ivory color to distress it, and then for the ivory hearts, I went with brown and tried pink, but the pink is very light, so you can barely see it, but basically, I just alternated between colors and hearts to make them look distressed. As you can see now, I'm taking that brown paint and going over the pink heart, and I will be doing the exact same thing, to the ivory hearts to make them look distressed. You're gonna have to excuse me, but I didn't realize that I wasn't recording and I didn't record this part. But basically, I glued all my hearts together once they were all painted, and now all I'm doing now is reinforcing on the back. I am so sorry. I promise I will be more careful when I'm recording, but you get the idea. To decorate my wreath, I picked up these 2 little flower / sticks bouquets from the Dollar Tree. I thought they were the perfect thing for this wreath because it's very neutral and I really like them, and I decided I was gonna use them. Now this bow, I created it for like one of my fall videos, and then I repurposed it for Christmas, and now I'm repurposing it for Valentine's, which is really great. Basically, I took that bow, removed the little rope that it had in the middle, and now I took this and put all these 3 pieces together, wrapped it around, and I decided to use one of these wooden hearts from the Dollar Tree. It's one of those chalkboard tags, and basically all I'm gonna do is glue my little flowers and bow down to my wreath, and then take this heart, fill in the hole with some hot glue, and then paint with some black paint over it to cover that up. Once it's dry, I'm gonna glue it into the middle of the bow, and here you have it. I love how this wreath turned out. It is very pretty. For this DIY, I'm gonna be using this cloud that I found at the Dollar Tree, as well as some wooden dowels. Now I took this piece of wood, I just cut it into 5 inches, created a hole with a drill, and then glue my wooden dowel on there. Once I have that glued on there, I created my mixture of the Dollar Tree brown paint and added some of the black paint on there and created my own brown stain. It always works, and I'm basically going to be painting both of my wooden pieces with this and let it dry. Now I am going to take my cloud and my wooden pieces and I will be gluing them together. I will be using some hot glue for this, and I will try to glue this cloud as straight as I can and just turn it over and add a lot more hot glue to make sure it's safe and secure. To create these hearts, I am going to be taking this burlap fabric and cutting off a heart. Now this is going to be the bottom of the heart. For the medium or the middle heart, I will be taking this fleece blanket from the Dollar Tree. It's a baby blanket that I use on one of my Christmas ornaments, and I'm gonna be cutting another heart, and this one is gonna be a little bit smaller than the bigger burlap one. Now I will also take another piece of the burlap fabric and cut out a smaller heart to go in the middle at the very top, as you can see. Now I am going to be taking a piece of jute rope, and that is going to be the hanger for this heart. I'm basically gluing the jute rope onto the bigger heart, and then I'm gonna take the pink heart, add some hot glue on there, and I will be gluing that on top of that bigger burlap heart, as you will see in a second. And I might have burned a little bit, but it's okay. I am going to glue it on top, and then after I am done gluing that one into place and fixing it where it needs to go, I will take some more hot glue and glue my little heart on top. I end up creating two of these exact same size. And I end up creating two more hearts, and these ones are a little bit smaller just to give it some contrast when they're hanging off the clouds, and I basically apply the same technique. Once all my hearts are completed, it's time to glue them onto the cloud, and I will be gluing one at a time. As you can see, I'm testing exactly how I need to glue my rope, and I will be holding it because the last thing I want is to glue it on there and the heart be facing to the back instead of to the front. So I will be gluing one at a time, and I will be using some hot glue for that. Here is a picture of the end result. I am in love of how this turned out. Let me know what you think on the comments down below. For this DIY, I'm going to be using 2 packages of these foam dies, and as well as this frame that I got from the Dollar Tree. My original idea was to just cut out the piece off of this, but then it ended up breaking, so I ended up removing the whole front part of it. As you can see now, like, things went south, and that's okay because it still ends up looking really good. Now I'm gonna take this white matte acrylic paint, and I will be painting my dies in the color white. To cover the whole blue on there, I will give it a couple of coats, and I will also be applying the same paint to my frame. Okay, so I grabbed one of the chalkboard hearts that I had from the Dollar Tree, and originally I wanted it white, but then I decided to go for pink, so that's what I did. Now, while all the pieces dry, I'm taking the dies in this brown paint in this brush, and I will distress my dies because I wanted them to look like they're wood. I hope I accomplished that. To me, they look really good, but that is me. And yeah, so I'm gonna do the exact same thing to all the dies. Once my heart is completely dry, I'm gonna take the heart in this pencil as well as this brown paint, and I will give it a stitch look to the ends of this heart with the color brown. Once my dies are completely dry, I will be taking this Dollar Tree stickers and I will spell the word mine. I feel like the M was a little bit too big for this dies, but it still ends up looking good, or at least to me. And once I spell that on there, I am going to take my little wooden heart and I will spell B and in cursive, and I will take the same brown paint and go over the word until I complete it. To decorate / cover up the hole that this heart has, I'm creating a small little bow out of rope, and I will be gluing it right in that hole to cover that up. Now that that is done, I will move on to still using some rope and creating a knot on the end, and I will be gluing that to the top of this dies, to the very middle of this, and I would add some hot glue on there and then the cord, and I will do that to all of them. Now that all of them have the piece of rope, I will start by gluing this to the middle of the frame. I will add some hot glue, and with my pencil I will move it to make sure that it's glued right in the middle. And now that it is glued completely, I am going to start wrapping my rope on the top. I will wrap it until I make it to the end, and once I make it to the end, I will add a little bit of hot glue and glue that into place. I will do the exact same thing to the other 3 dies off camera. It is time to put the last pieces together, and I'm gonna start with this little heart and I'm gonna glue it on the top left corner. Once that is completed, I'm gonna grab this candle holder that I picked up from the Dollar Tree and I really love, and I am going to glue my sign onto this. Now off camera I did went and added some of the rope around the candle holder, but this is what I got so far, and here is a picture of the end result. I am in love of how this turned out. I'm actually in love with all the DIYs in this video. Let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite, and also don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you on my next DIY. Bye.